Hi everybody, welcome back. Let's talk about brand differentiation. There's a disease out there and a lot of companies are suffering from it. It's called surfing the sea of sameness. Companies are looking the same, they're talking the same, they're offering the same kind of products, they're offering the same kind of story, they're showing up in the same places and doing the same things. Personal brands can suffer from it, entrepreneurs suffer from it, creative pros suffer from it. All sorts of businesses suffer from a lack of brand differentiation. There's this saying, and it's been attributed to a lot of different people, but the quote is, "Different is better than better." And when it comes down to it in business, differentiation is everything in business and in success. So what is brand differentiation? Well, the definition of it is establishing a core essence of a company, a product, or a service that's distinct from the competition. So why do you need to know about it? As a designer, you need to be able to help your clients recognize and establish a level of differentiation in their businesses. And entrepreneurs or business owners have to be able to look inside of their company and recognize the fact that they may, in many cases, in some aspect of their company, not be differentiated enough. So how can you be different? Well, the first thing you have to do, and so many companies never do this, and it just blows my mind when I work with clients, how many of them don't really understand or haven't really looked at in detail their competition. So you want to do a competitive audit. When you do a competitive audit, what do you look at? You look at who are the companies who are your competition. What are they named? What do they call themselves? What are those names like? What kind of products and services do they offer? Where do they play? So what kind of markets are they in? What kind of categories are they in? How do they look? What's their trade dress? So what's their branding? What's their design? How do they visualize their brand? How do they market themselves? And also, where do they market themselves and what do they do in those markets? What's their customer avatar? So you may perceive the customer avatar that they're pursuing. So what is it that they've established as their customer? And also, how do they price themselves? How do they price themselves as a brand? So are they premium? Are they luxury? Or are they a value brand? And also, how do they price their products and how do they price their services? So after you audit your competition, you want to ask these questions. Is the market crowded? So how many competitors do you have in your category, in your market? And how do the other brands, how do your competitors differentiate themselves from each other? How are they doing it? And when you look at the whole sea, the whole landscape of competition, what is the white space? So is there any area of that competition where people aren't playing, where there's room, where there's opportunity to establish a foothold in a market, where the other brands and the other competition is not necessarily doing it or looking like it or marketing in that particular way? And then the other question is, can you move your brand to take advantage of that white space, to take advantage of that area of the market that you could corner and you could outflank some of your competition? And if you can't, how can you create a level of differentiation in your company or in your services or in your products or what you do? What are the levers that you can pull that you can differentiate yourself from your competition? Now, if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to go back into my archive and look at a video that's called How to Do a Competitive Audit. It's really instructional, and you might want to take a look at that to kind of further your knowledge of this aspect or this question. So you want to choose one of these levers to differentiate yourself. These are the sorts of things that you can alter, you can pull, you can manipulate in your business in order to differentiate yourself from the competition. First of all, pricing. So are you premium? Are you value? A great example of this is Dollar Shave Club. They totally disrupted the razor market, undercutting Gillette and undercutting all sorts of other big manufacturers by offering cheap razors in the mail on a subscription basis. So you could use quality. So are you cheap? Are you mid-range? Are you luxury? So Tesla, for instance, was a luxury car, but there was this huge white space in the luxury car but eco-friendly market, and they totally took over that space. There's service level. So how do you offer up that service, and what kind of service do you offer? Is it very personal? Is it very technical? Is it very removed? Is it very close and intimate? There's delivery method. So how do you deliver your services? Companies like Amazon revolutionized the book world by offering books in a digital format, offering ebooks. There's the Apple Store, which revolutionized how technology is sold in physical retail. There's Uber Eats, so they've revolutionized how takeout food is delivered to your door. Again, Dollar Shave Club did an amazing innovative move when they offered razors as a subscription. And there's companies like Stitch Fix that offer personalized shopping and personalized fashion assortment development for you in the digital sphere. So what is your delivery method? There's also trade dress. So what is the visual aspects of your branding? How can you make that different? Is it the branding itself, your logo, your color palette, your patterns? Is it naming? Is it the design or layout of your marketing or your website? A great example of this in packaging anyway is Kotex, which is the feminine hygiene product. A number of years back, they redesigned their packaging and they put it in black packaging. The feminine hygiene aisle, if you know anything about it, is all white, all pastel colors, that is the vibe of that aisle. And they went in and they totally disrupted the market, and their products jumped off the shelf essentially because they were black in this entirely white, colorful aisle. So what is your trade dress? They pushed their product packaging to an extreme and really differentiated themselves within that category. Method did the same thing in the laundry aisle. The laundry aisle was dominated by Tide and Gain, all in these orange and green plastic bottles, and Method came in with these really cool shaped packages in clear bottles with brightly colored laundry detergent and all sorts of soaps, and they completely disrupted that aisle. So how do you look at the trade dress of your products or your brand to differentiate yourself? And also in marketing, so how and where do you show up? So what are the platforms you use? Do you use social? Do you use traditional marketing? Do you use television and broadcast and podcasts? Do you use outdoor signage? What is it that you use in terms of your marketing? How is your competition doing it? And how could you do it differently or better? And also you can look at your customer targets. So who are you pursuing and who is your competition pursuing? For instance, Tesla, again, they pursued an eco-sensitive population with an electric vehicle, where all of the other vehicle producers, Ford, Chevy, all those guys were going after the traditional, gas-powered combustion engine market. So Tesla pursued eco-sensitive people in a very innovative way by shifting and taking advantage of a white space in the market around the idea of a different customer target. And so you imagine if a fashion brand did this. Imagine if H&M, which is almost entirely focused on young millennials and younger people in a fast fashion kind of way, what if they developed a huge assortment that was cheap but more quality clothing for older people? I know it's crazy to think about, but H&M, a fast fashion company, could outflank some of its competitors by looking at a customer target that's a white space that's completely underserved by the fashion industry. Just an idea. And then after you determine that lever that you're going to pull, you have to figure out how to make your brand distinct. How do you make your brand stand out? Which lever are you going to pull and how are you going to pull it? What do you need to change in order to differentiate your brand from everybody else's, or differentiate your product or your service from how other people are doing it? How can you innovate in your category? You have to remember that differentiation is everything in business. You differentiate your brand and you win. Different is better than better. And with that, thanks again for watching. I hope you liked this video on brand differentiation. And if you did, please hit subscribe below so you can see my videos when they come out. And make sure to hit that notifications button so you can get notified when I post a new video or when I go live, which I am increasingly doing. With that, thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye for now.